Hey Room 207, welcome to Miss Dempsey's Room 207 YouTube channel. This will be my second video, so I'm like basically a pro now. Thanks for checking in the video. And if you like what you see, you can like hit the like or the subscribe, or leave me a comment and make new content and all that cool stuff. But yeah, so today's our first day. It's Monday today, and it's our first day of us all learning from home. And so I hope that you're all doing really well and that you're enjoying the activities that I had planned for you for this week. If you need anything, let me know. I've already had lots of kids reach out to me via text, FaceTime, Seesaw, email, and I love it. It's keeping me really busy. Besides not being at school, I'm learning and doing my own thing as well. I still have my coffee, so like that hasn't really changed, except now it's just in a mug and I can drink it when it's hot. And yeah, but it's weird and I miss you all very much. So today I'm actually going to read you a picture book, and it's one of my absolute favorite books, and for some of you who were with me last year, you may have probably heard it before because it's absolutely one of my favorites, and I thought as our first day of not being together I would read you one of my favorites. It's called Frank and Zelda, and you can see how much this book has been loved because there's tape on the sides. When you open up the book, it basically is like breaking on the inside. You can see it's like not even staying together. And that just goes to show how loved this book is and how much kids love it and I love it and how often we've read it. It's actually one of my books that I had when I was a kid. So it's now in the classroom and now it's in our home classroom. And I'm gonna read it to you and you can follow along and maybe comment below if there's a book that you'd like me to read. I did bring home a lot of books, a whole basket of books I'll show you here. Can you see the basket? There we go, with a bunch of different books in it. So if there's something that you're requesting or something for me to do, then let me know. Did I do it? Yeah. And I can look into it for you. Okay. So Frank and Zelda. Let's see if you can see that. Frank and Zelda owned a small pizza shop next to Mel's summer hat and glove factory. Business wasn't just good, it was booming. The workers at the factory came for lunch. The shopkeepers came for dinner. Frank made the pizza and Zelda served the customers. It was a lot of work, but they were happy, even though they didn't know it at the time. Frank complained the kitchen was too small and hot and the work never stopped. Zelda said her feet hurt from all the running. Late at night, Zelda would gaze at the factory and think, someday people will get fed up with hats and gloves in the summer. We should make a plan, Frank and I. But they never made a plan. They'd clean up, go to bed, and face another busy day. Zelda was right. The day did come when people were tired of wearing hats and gloves in the summer. The factory closed. The workers moved away. Nobody came to the restaurant anymore. The days were long, and sometimes Frank and Zelda quarreled. That means they fought. When Zelda talked, Frank didn't listen. So Zelda talked less and less. They passed the time silently, wishing for the old days. One day, a man appeared. "Excuse me," he said. "Might I see a menu?" "A menu?" asked Zelda. "Zelda, a menu! The man wants a menu. He is a customer and he wants a menu." It's the man right there. Frank ran to the kitchen. Zelda took the man's hat, dusted it off, and poured him a glass of water. Frank concocted the biggest, the juiciest, the all-around best pizza he had ever made. He lined the edge with pepperoni and made circles with olives and anchovies. I'm sure you guys all love that pizza. The man ate heartily and complimented Frank and Zelda on their fine pizza and excellent service. He was at the door when Frank found his voice. Wait, you forgot to pay." "Oh," said the man, "I haven't got any money. I never really carry money, just kindness and goodwill." "Call the police," said Zelda. The man became tearful and begged, "Please don't. I'll give you anything you wish. Really, go on, make a wish." "Ha," said Frank and Zelda together, for neither believed in magic. "I wish I had a paying customer," said Frank. "No, make it 1,000 every day and forever." At that moment, a busload of basketball players stopped in front of the restaurant. Frank and Zelda were amazed and turned to the little man. but he was gone. After the basketball players, more people came. It was dawn when the last customer left and the place was clean. Arm in arm, Frank and Zelda went up to their apartment, tired and grinning. Just like the old days, eh, Frank? Laughed Zelda. Even better, Frank answered as he squeezed Zelda's shoulder. They were deep in dreams when they were wakened by banging downstairs. "What do you want?" Frank called to the gathered crowd. "Pizza!" the people cheered. Frank and Zelda were astonished. "But it's morning," said Frank. "You don't want pizza for breakfast." "Pizza for breakfast! Pizza for breakfast!" As the crowd chanted, Frank and Zelda dressed and rushed downstairs. They were so tired that they got the orders mixed up, and still the customers kept coming. During the worst of it, Zelda spotted the little man again. "Wonderful, isn't it, Zell?" he said. "Help!" cried Zelda. "I wish I had some help around here." That night, they didn't clean up. They just fell into bed and went straight to sleep. There's the little man again. It's a lot of people. Oh my gosh. Look. The next morning, there was a gentle tap, tap, tapping at the front door. Afraid of what might be down there, they peeked out from behind tightly drawn curtains. Frank ripped open the curtains and cried, "Look, Zelda, waiters!" Hundreds of smiling waiters formed a neat line. Wow. It worked out well at first, but as the restaurant filled, all those waiters bumped into one another. Frank and Zelda didn't quite know what to do. From under a table popped the smiling face of the little man. Can you see? "I never forget a good deed or a good pizza," he said. "I don't know if I believe in magic, but I sure wish we had a bigger restaurant," said Zelda. The man grinned and lowered the tablecloth. Frank and Zelda couldn't sleep that night. They stared at the ceiling, imagining what would greet them in the morning. At dawn, they rushed down to the street and gasped at their new restaurant. Night and day and night, the business never slowed. It seemed all the world wanted was to eat at Frank and Zelda's, and all Frank and Zelda wanted to do was feed them. But after a while, Zelda's feet ached. The kitchen was hotter than ever. The waiters grew tired and grumpy. One night, a badly behaved group of customers threw food. Soon, the whole place was brawling. Zelda tried to stop them, but things were out of hand. She ran to the kitchen and into Frank's arms. They held each other tight. The door swung open, and in slid the little man. He looked sadly at Frank and Zelda. "I feel a bit responsible for all this," he said. "I wish we'd never got those lousy wishes," moaned Frank. Immediately, all was silent outside. Frank and Zelda inched their way towards the doors and opened them a crack. They stuck their heads out. There was nobody there. It was as if none of it had happened. Frank locked the door. Zelda made a pot of tea. "You know what, Frank?" she said. "I think it's time we made a plan." "I think you're right," said Frank. They sipped their tea and made their plan. Soon, Frank and Zelda were happy again, and this time they knew it. The end. So I have a connection just reading this book. Last night, I watched the new Aladdin movie on Disney Plus because I just got Disney Plus. And it reminds me of all the wishes that they're making in that movie and how the genie warns, even with wishes, you might not feel that happy. And that reminds me of this book because Frank and Zelda too have all these wishes and they keep wanting to change what they're wishing for because it's not really doing what they were hoping it would do. So if you have a connection, you can comment below with your connection too. It can be a connection to yourself, a connection to something that you've watched or read. And hit me a like and a subscribe. And I'll hopefully talk to you all very, very soon. Okay, have a great day, everyone. Bye.